Welcome to Pretty Tales, where real emotions meet powerful storytelling. Here, we tell stories of love, betrayal, faith, struggle, and success. Stories inspired by real life, real people, and real lessons. Every story is told to touch your heart, open your eyes, and remind you that no matter where you are coming from, your story is not over yet. Sit back, listen carefully, and let the story begin. This story happened in Lagos State, the city where dreams are loud, pressure is real, and success can either build love or destroy it. In Lagos, everyone is chasing something. Money, status, a name that will finally be respected. That's where I met him. I loved him when my life was still simple, when I was hustling from bus to bus, writing my dreams in quiet corners while Lagos moved faster than me. We were not rich, but we were close. Not successful, but we were hopeful. He used to say, "One day, this city will hear your name." And I believed him, because love sounds convincing when there's nothing to lose. But Lagos teaches you one painful lesson very early. Not everyone who supports your dreams can survive your success. When things were hard, he was patient. When money was scarce, he was understanding. But when my breakthrough came, when small wins turned into big opportunities, his love started changing shape. In this city, success doesn't knock politely. It arrives loudly. And when it did, I noticed something strange. The man who once stood beside me started standing behind me. The smiles became forced. The encouragement turned into silence. I didn't know it then, but I was about to learn a painful truth. I wasn't losing love because I failed. I was losing love because I was rising. And in Lagos, when success begins to shine, betrayal doesn't announce itself. It blends in. It eats with you. It sleeps beside you. This is not just a love story. It is a story of betrayal at the edge of success, and the moment I realized that choosing my future meant letting go of someone I loved. Before success found me, life in Lagos was a daily negotiation with hope. Every morning felt the same: noise from the streets, danfo horns shouting without mercy, people rushing as if the city itself was late for something important. I was one of them. Quiet dreams. Loud surroundings. That was when I loved him the most. We didn't have much. We counted money before making plans. Dates were roadside meals, shared drinks, long walks under fading streetlights. But there was warmth in those moments. Because love feels richest when expectations are low. He knew my struggle. He saw the rejection emails. He heard the nights when I cried quietly so the neighbors wouldn't hear. Sometimes we would sit on the balcony of his small apartment, watching Lagos lights flicker like distant promises. I would talk about my dreams, big dreams that sounded almost foolish in a city where many never escape survival mode. And he would listen. He would say things like, "I believe in you. This city will not defeat you. When you succeed, don't forget me." Those words mattered then. They felt like prayer. I trusted him because he saw me before anyone else did. Before applause. Before recognition. Before success started giving my name weight. In those days, love was gentle. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't threatened. We planned a future that assumed we would grow together. He didn't feel small beside my ambition, because ambition hadn't started producing results yet. And that's the part people don't talk about. Some people love your dreams, but only when they are still dreams. Lagos has a way of testing love. The moment progress begins, relationships enter a silent exam. Not everyone passes. Back then, I didn't know that love could expire quietly. That support could turn conditional. That the same man who held my hands during struggle might later release them when success demanded confidence. But in that season, before success, before pressure, before jealousy, love felt real. And that's why the betrayal hurt later. Because it didn't come from a stranger. It came from someone who once knew my fears, my prayers, and my unfinished dreams. Success didn't arrive suddenly. It came quietly, like a rumor. At first, it was just small wins. Opportunities that didn't look impressive to outsiders, but meant everything to me. A call returned. A message answered. A door slightly opened. In Lagos, those small wins are dangerous. They give you hope. I was excited. I talked about them the way a child talks about a dream, carelessly, joyfully. I expected him to celebrate with me the way he used to. But something had changed. When I spoke about progress, he listened differently. Less eye contact. Shorter replies. Forced smiles. At first, I told myself I was imagining it. Lagos life is stressful, I said. Everyone gets tired. Everyone has worries. But love notices patterns before the mind accepts them. He stopped asking questions about my work. When I stayed up late planning or preparing, he called it overdoing. When I spoke confidently about the future, he said I was changing. That word stayed with me. Changing. In Lagos, growth often looks like pride to people who are standing still. The more focused I became, the more uncomfortable he seemed. He joked about my ambition in front of others. He reminded me often of where I was coming from, as if success needed permission to continue. I realized something painful. He was comfortable with my struggle, but unsure about my progress. The city was responding to me in new ways. People listened when I spoke. Opportunities started aligning. And instead of standing taller beside me, he began shrinking away. Success has a way of revealing insecurity. I wasn't ignoring him. I wasn't disrespecting him. I was simply growing. But to him, growth felt like distance. In Lagos, when one person starts rising, the other must either rise too, or feel left behind. And instead of walking with me, he started watching me. Carefully. Quietly. Suspiciously. That was when love stopped feeling safe. Because the man who once protected my dreams now seemed threatened by them. And I didn't know it yet, but the shift had already begun. It happened slowly, like rain dripping through a cracked roof. At first, it was small. Messages that weren't answered. Calls I had to return instead of him. Invitations ignored. Subtle, almost invisible, but in Lagos, small cracks grow fast. Especially in love. Then came the whispers. Friends started asking, "Is he really happy for you?" At first, I laughed it off. They don't understand our story, I told myself. But one evening, I saw it for myself. He was on his phone, smiling in a way that wasn't meant for me. That familiar warmth, the one I thought was ours, was gone. I asked him about it. He said, "It's nothing. Just work." In Lagos, just work often means something else. And then came the betrayal that broke the illusion completely. The project I had been tirelessly working on, my breakthrough, was suddenly met with criticism, undermining, even sabotage in ways I didn't notice at first. He questioned my decisions, doubted my instincts, and subtly encouraged others to second-guess me. I realized then, he wasn't just uncomfortable with my success. He resented it. The love I had trusted had become conditional. It depended not on who I was, but on how small I remained. In Lagos, love and ambition often clash. Many can cheer when dreams are distant, but only a few can survive the glow of achievement. I felt the betrayal deep. Not only for the trust broken, but because it came from someone I had given everything to. My secrets, my dreams, my vulnerability, all handled with care until it was convenient, then treated with quiet envy. That night, as Lagos lights shimmered across the river, I knew I had a choice. Let him continue to dim my light, or step fully into the woman I was meant to become. I chose the latter. The man who once promised to rise with me was now a reminder. Not everyone who loves you can survive your success. Not everyone who smiles with you in struggle can bear to see you win. Betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers in small moments that feel like home, until you realize home is no longer safe. That night, Lagos felt different. The city's hum, usually comforting, sounded sharp. The distant horns, the flickering streetlights, the bustling traffic, they all reminded me that life moves on, whether we want it to or not. I sat quietly, thinking of the man I loved. The man who once promised to rise with me. The man who had silently cheered me on in struggle, but now watched me from behind with envy. I realized something important. Success and love do not always walk together. I could stay and fight for a love that had quietly turned against me, or I could stand tall, focus on my dreams, and let success define me. I chose me. Not out of anger, not out of revenge, but because I knew my potential was bigger than anyone else's jealousy. Because Lagos has taught me that opportunities wait for no one. And if I let betrayal stop me, I would never reach the life I had imagined. So I focused. I worked. I prayed. Every sleepless night, every early morning, every rejection and setback became fuel. Each tear became a reminder that growth hurts, but growth matters. And as I stepped forward into the next chapter of my life, I knew something very clear. Some people love you until your success threatens their comfort. But here's the twist. Even as I rose, he couldn't help but notice. Even as I rebuilt my life, the shadow of what we had lingered. And that, my viewers, is where part 2 begins. Because success isn't just about what you gain, it's about who is left standing when the dust settles, and what they do when confronted with the truth. Stay tuned. Just when I thought the betrayal was over, life revealed something deeper. Success didn't just change me, it exposed everything he tried to hide. But what happened next was something he never expected. In part 2, success speaks, regrets surface, and the truth finally comes full circle. White right pointing backhand index, don't miss it.